Tonight on News 5 Live, a road trip goes terribly wrong on the Hummingbird Highway. Residents dodge bullets on Victoria Street. Football to get some support for developing the sport in the north. And you probably know his photos. Now one Belizean photographer has his own gallery. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Introducing Edam A Cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A-Cheese at a supermarket near you. A-Cheese, exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
The vaccine is now available. We here at R&G Life encourage you to take the vaccine. Belize, it's time to roll up our sleeves.
I'm rolling up mine because I know what COVID can do to families.
Because I want to go back to the way things were.
I'm rolling up mine so that I'm able to do music again.
Because I want to protect my family.
Things are slowly getting back to normal. The new normal, which includes getting vaccinated. Take the opportunity to get vaccinated at the R&G Life Wellness Clinic Day on Friday, June 18th. We will also have blood pressure, cholesterol, and other screenings available. Get vaccinated. Roll up for Believe.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank. Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, June 10th. I am Sabrina Daly. It was breaking news on Wednesday night, but details were sketchy at that time. But today there is more on the deadly accident that left one man dead and two others injured during what should have been an enjoyable road trip among friends. Andrea Polanco reports.
30-year-old Prince Charles Benjamin left his home in Unitedville with friends on Wednesday morning just after 11 o'clock. But less than 4 hours later, he was dead. He was traveling in a car heading to Saboon River with his cousin and a friend when they got in an accident between miles 38 and 39 on the Hummingbird Highway, just a few minutes away from his destination.
All of a sudden we heard that they were in an accident. We thought at first that it was just something minor, so his sister and his dad went to the hospital to check on him. But then afterwards we started little by little getting news that someone had died. And rumors are going around that it was him, but then there were like no confirmation as yet. So we had hopes and hoping it wasn't him. And then just to get the sad news a little while after and confirm that yes, it was him that passed away.
Prince Charles Benjamin was sitting in the front passenger seat of the car, while his cousin Greg Garcia was sitting in the back. The driver, Sean Guzman, reportedly lost control of the vehicle, which sent it flipping off the highway.
We heard he was at the front passenger seat, and I'm not too sure if he was wearing a seatbelt. I'm not too sure, but I do know he sustained at first they were saying it was his abdomen, but they weren't sure as yet. But then later they verified that he had like a severe cut by his right leg. And someone had shared a picture when he was in the back of the vehicle, and we could see that, you know, his right leg, the pants from underneath, all the way to his shoe was very full of blood. So more than likely he bled to death.
I haven't heard the circumstances, if maybe they lost control or what exactly caused that accident?
Yeah, we heard from his sister that when they were at the hospital, the driver, I think he broke his shoulder and he was speaking, and I think he said he felt the steering wheel wobbling, so he took a peek outside, and that's when he noticed his tire wobbling, and as he did that, he said the tire fell off, he lost control, and that's when they flipped, and that was it.
Garcia says that the sudden news of the fatal accident has stunned the family. Prince Charles Benjamin was a father of one child and a well-known resident of Unitedville. Garcia says that his cousin will be remembered for his fun-loving demeanor.
Whole family in shock, family, friends. He was very known to everyone around here, especially here in the village. Everyone loved him. He really peaceful, nice guy. The life of everywhere. As everyone around here knows, you know, we would always see him on his blue motorcycle. Literally everyone, friends. It's not only family in shock. It's not only family crying. It's friends that shared that bond with him. And it goes beyond the village. He was very well known with a lot of people. You would never see Prince sad, or even if he was in pain. He was a very tough person. So I know he died, you know, fighting for his life. We know he wasn't. He's someone that loved life, and he lived every moment to the fullest. A very giving person. You know, things like this happen all of a sudden. And then because of the way he carries himself, no one would ever expect something like this happening to him at such an early age. No?
Garcia says they were told that the men made a stop in Belmopan that afternoon. They reportedly had lunch and a beer each, but the family doesn't believe that drinking played a role in the deadly accident. Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
The driver of the car, Sean Guzman, suffered abrasions to his shoulder and his lower back. Greg Garcia, the brother of Jose Garcia and cousin of Prince Charles Benjamin, received injuries to his forehead, right arm, right knee, and lower back. Both men are listed in a stable condition. A shooting incident in Belize City around 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday has left an aspiring musical artist recovering in the hospital. It happened on Victoria Street, just a stone's throw away from the Pixdot hutment. A vehicle emerged on the scene where several young men were standing. Before they knew it, they were running for their lives in a hail of bullets. Fortunately, no one was gravely injured during the ambush. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
My brother, you a young black king. Sister, you a young black queen. Yeah, you know that we all have seen. Live life and pre the right thing, yeah. And you know that we all have skills. So you figure about tool and build. And just by the grace of God, you know that we all gonna win the code. And so me tell them
a local musician remains hospitalized at the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital following an armed attack on a group of men just before curfew on Wednesday night. Reports are that 27-year-old John King was socializing at the Fitzgibbon residence on Victoria Street when he came under gunfire, along with several others. The young men spoke with News 5 off record and told us that they were in front of the building near the sidewalk when they observed an individual in the middle of the street pointing a shiny object in their direction. He began walking towards them, letting loose a barrage of bullets indiscriminately. King ran through an adjacent alley but was injured while doing so. His friends ran inside the house in an attempt to escape, but the gunman pursued them, firing as they scrambled for cover. A round tore through this wooden cupboard before ricocheting off a nearby wall. In the ensuing chaos, another young man was grazed on the left calf, and while attempting to scale a fence at the rear of the property, injured his left foot on a sheet of zinc. The incident, according to them, is a result of an ongoing feud between persons on Victoria Street and others from Majestic Alley. King's sibling told News 5 this afternoon that he has since undergone surgery and will remain hospitalized for at least 5 days before being discharged. It's a long-standing rivalry that has claimed several lives over the years. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Prime Minister John Briceño departed Belize on Wednesday for an official visit to San Jose, Costa Rica. Today, PM Briceño is attending the extraordinary summit of the heads of state of government of SICA, Spain, and the Solidarity event for forcibly displaced persons and host communities in Central America and Mexico, in San Jose. The Spanish press is reporting that the president of Spain, Pedro Sanchez Perez Castejon, will meet with the heads of state of the countries of the Central American integration system to analyze issues that impact the region's development, including climate change and irregular migration. The event is also expected to strengthen the long-standing ties of friendship and cooperation between Spain and SICA member states and commemorates SICA's 30th anniversary. During his visit, Prime Minister Briceño will also be holding bilateral meetings with the President of Costa Rica, Carlos Alvarado Quesada. Coming up, the Financial Secretary responds to the IMF reports to Belize. What he has to say about this and the revised pay scale for public officers when we return.
Infinite Health presents Common Sense Herbs, everything your body needs, and are all natural, dairy-free, non-GMO, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and are FDA monitored. Everything your body needs. Distributor in Belize, Infinite Health, Birdseye, Belize City. Telephone number 613-1914. That's 613-1940.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, we're offering 19 to 25% off selected items such as Milwaukee and Axi power tools, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. And that's not all. The race is on Saturday, June 19th. All roads leads to Benny's Cotton Tree Compound, mile 43 on the George Price Highway, where we will host the first ever Benny's 100. To enter the race, all you have to do is purchase your cart kit from Benny's for only $100. Assemble your cart, sign up, and get a chance to ride off with fabulous prizes. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Remember, it's popping deals for dad in June and Benny's 100 on June 19th, only at Benny's.
Benny's. Did you know that the 2021 Belize Telephone Directory is now available? Get your free copy today at any Digistore, Quartz Belize, and A&R location countrywide. It's available in both regular and mini sizes and loaded with coupons to your favorite places. Use these coupons to save every day. Plus, download the Find Yellow mobile app and always have the directory with you. It's available in Google Play and Apple Store. For more info, log on to www.findyellow.com. The 2021 Belize Telephone Directory. Get yours today.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800-A-WAY-OUT or our cell phone number, 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize, with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects.
The International Monetary Fund has released its official report following its Article 4 consultation with Belize back in February of this year. Among the policy points Belizeans would be most concerned about are the recommended cuts to government spending and increases in taxes, including the general sales tax. The report acknowledges Belize has been hard hit by COVID-19. In fact, the report says Belize has had one of the highest numbers of cases and deaths per capita in the Caribbean. In 2020, tourism fell by 72%. Belize's gross domestic product contracted by 14% that year, and public debt increased from 97% in 2019 to almost 130% in 2020. Because the IMF says Belize's recovery from the pandemic will be protracted, that is, with only sluggish tourism growth for most of 2021 and public debt likely to remain high, the fund says Belize's economic outlook is, quote, subject to substantial downside risks, including from a resurgence of the pandemic and natural disasters, unquote. The fund director says there is an urgent need for restored debt sustainability, provide support to the most vulnerable, and implement structural reforms. The directors recommended broadening the tax base, strengthening revenue administration, and reprioritizing expenditures. A major priority is restoring debt sustainability to reduce external imbalances and strengthen the currency peg. They called on the authorities to limit central bank financing of the government, which together with fiscal consolidation would help reduce the current account deficit, improve access to external financing, and boost reserves. But they also called for increasing tax rates, including that of the GST. News 5 spoke with Financial Secretary Joseph Waite about IMF's latest report.
The thing is this, that nobody knows for sure what the future will hold. The government is putting in place what it thinks is a credible and adequate program to try to resume growth and to bring our debt back into sustainable levels. We're taking some difficult actions. We've reached out to our partners, including labor and the private sector, everybody working together. But really, it means a sustained effort, and we're hoping that in 18 months or another 2 years, you look back in the rear view mirror and you see where you've climbed out of this hole. The IMF, by nature, is conservative, and there are risks, downside risks. There's also climate change we have to consider, things that you don't know. Prices on our commodities can sometimes be volatile, so there's a number of unknowns. But I think we're taking the correct steps to stabilize ourselves, put ourselves back on a sustainable, put ourselves back on a sustainable path, and hopefully in 3 years' time, with sustained effort, we will be able to say that we are back on solid ground. Huh?
God forbid, but if we are to have a natural disaster, even a second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, and you're right in saying nobody really knows the future, but that would set those projections back substantially. Can these risks be mitigated with a broadening of the tax base as the IMF recommends?
Well, the idea is to try to improve your administration and widen the base. It means less exemptions, of course, and less, and to try to rather than increase the rates, you widen the base. And indeed, if there is a big economic shock, well, you have to go back to the drawing board.
It has been reported in the international press, and today the Financial Secretary, Joseph Waite, said that yes, some of Belize's creditors have agreed to extend the grace period on the $7 million coupon payment, which was due earlier this year to late September. He says the time will be used to continue ongoing negotiations with bondholders for debt restructuring.
Under the terms and conditions of the bond, a payment was due on the 20th of May. And there's a 30-day grace period beyond that, which would take you to the 20th of June, to cure the payment or to make good the payment, after which it then goes into what they call a hard default. A hard default means that now you've defaulted and remedies can be exercised by bondholders to try to collect their money. What the government has done is reached out to some of the bondholders asking for an extension of this grace period by a further 90 days, which would take it to the 20th of September, to allow sufficient time for what we hope would be a positive outcome of the negotiations we're having with the bondholders to see if we can get some debt relief. So really, the request is for an extension of the grace period, and what we heard from some of the creditors is that they would support it. But we would need a majority of the creditors to support the extension of the grace period.
So you're saying it's not a case where when that period is up sometime in September, that $7 million will have to be paid at that point?
Well, a grace period gives an extension. If nothing happens, yes, it becomes due. But what we're hoping is that this will give both sides enough time to sit down and come to some understanding and some change.
But undoubtedly, these repeated defaults on loan payments to bondholders have had a negative impact on Belize's international reputation. Waite says Belize continues bilateral financing, but he acknowledges the economy is in dire straits.
Well, you know, we have a structural problem. We have an unsustainable debt position, and we're trying to cure it. Once it's cured, we have renewed access to capital markets, but at this point in time, it is what it is. This is where we are. We do have access to what we call the official sector. We continue to have access to the IFIs, the multilateral agencies, the World Bank, the Caribbean Bank, the IDB, others go on. We have a strong bilateral program with the U.S. and Venezuela, so we do have access to financing. It's just commercial financing is a difficulty right now, and commercial financing is quite expensive.
Belize's foreign reserve has withstood some of the worst days it has seen. Now the financial secretary says the nation's reserve are bouncing back. He noted that the process to complete recovery will be slow, yet the economy is already experiencing growth.
Well, the official reserves are adequate. I think we have 3.5 months of import cover. We're hoping, we expect it to remain that way. We are beginning to see some resilience in the economy. It's going to be slow, but I think we're over the worst of it.
In our analysis of the new pay scales for teachers and public officers, we spoke with Dean Flowers, president of the Public Service Union. He gave us a perspective on how the adjusted wages will affect not only himself, but others on various levels of the salary band. While those on the lower rung of that ladder will not be affected, anyone whose earnings is on pay scale 5 or above will see a sharp reduction in monthly and annual income. Flowers explains.
I am looking at, and I can draw a quick analogy or comparison. Sorry. So if you look at somebody on pay scale 5 under the 2017 pay scale, someone on pay scale 5, the starting point would be $13,152. The annual increments for that individual would be $791. On this revised pay scale, that person will now only be earning $11,837. So they move from $13,152 to $11,837, and their increment, whenever that is instituted, now falls from $865 to $712. Individuals between pay scale 1 and 4 are not affected. What is even humorous, if I can use that term, is that the individual on pay scale 4, because they're not affected, their increment will now be higher than those on pay scale 5. Pay scale 16, that's a pay scale that I have no problem speaking about because that's a pay scale that I sit on. And my increment under the current pay scale would have been $1,310 a year. Under the new pay scale, that will only be $1,179. So I'm saying that not only are people's salaries being cut by 10% and being placed 4 points backwards, while, interestingly enough, they keep you at the same pay scale but not at the same salary point. And I guess that is so that, for those individuals who are on a particular salary point, of course, they won't have to just work their way backwards, but they can simply look at the new pay scale where their point is, and then they can identify with their new salary. But for me, it's a double whammy because knowing the conversation, was it agreed or suggested that even when your increment was reinstituted, if and when in 2024, that it would have also been affected.
Financial Secretary Joseph Waite says the new pay scale for government workers and teachers is backed by agreements made in negotiations with the unions and legislations passed in the House. Although the president of the Public Service Union, Dean Flowers, says the scale, which took effect retroactively to June 1st, is permanent and that increments will also be 10% less when reinstated, Waite says the issue of what will happen with increments down the road has not been discussed.
I didn't hear what the president had to say, but I can say that the pay scales are a consequence of the two pieces of legislation that were approved, whereby the scales were reduced by 10% for those officers who are earning $12,000, just above $12,000. It's consistent with what was approved. I think there was an SI that was signed. It was attached to the pay scales for information, and also there was an act that went through the House and the Senate. In addition to a reduction in the actual salaries of 10%, there's also the freeze of increments, and that was also proposed by the government for a period of 3 years.
The president stated that when the increments are reinstated after the 3-year period, that it will be 10% less. So government work employees will receive 10% less on their increments. Is that how that will work?
I have no idea of what the president is saying. Reinstatement is a matter that would, I think the Deputy Prime Minister said that the scales would be reinstated. Whether the increments would be reinstated is a decision that has, as far as I am aware, has yet to be taken by the government.
Would you be able to say why a new pay scale, why an entire new pay scale, if it's only a temporary measure until the economy recovers?
Well, a pay scale is a critical element in actually processing the pay. If there's any change in salaries, the scale is a guide. It is almost directive as to how the new changes are put into effect. When we had salary increases going back 4 or 5 years, anytime there's a across-the-board salary change, a new scale is published to reflect those changes. It's part of our operating procedures.
The financial secretary also appealed to the wider Belizean to assist in the nation's economic recovery. Wade says in addition to paying their taxes, people should view the economic rebound as a partnership.
Those who are taxpayers should be paying their fair share and not avoid and pay their fair share of taxes. Be good citizens, contribute to the development of the society by not engaging in any illegal activities that may require more resources. But being good citizens and being responsible citizens, and it's a partnership. We have to hold hands together. The government by itself can't survive, nor can the private sector or the public. And remember, the government is here to serve the public, so we're all in the same boat. We all have to we have to paddle in the same direction.
After the break, a football academy for Corozal. Details of the plan to build up the sport in the north when we come back. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Behind every great company is an equally fascinating story of how that business came to be. At Home Protector Insurance, we have one such story. In the early 1970s, Belizean-owned businesses were numbered. Few had what it took to face the challenges. But in 1974, one Belizean man, Norman Moore, faced that challenge head-on. September 4th, 1974, at number 45 Picksock Street in Belize City, Home Protector Insurance came into existence. With a humble beginning of only 5 employees, Home Protector has blossomed to now having over 50 dedicated staff members and 28 agents countrywide. Through hard work, sacrifice, and determination, Home Protector, a Belizean-owned company, now offers multiple insurance products and has expanded into one of the foremost insurance companies in Belize. Innovation and drive will lead us into tomorrow.
It's a hammer, it's a drill, it's Super Handy Dads. That's right, folks, it's Super Handy Dads month again at Brothers Event. And do we have some super gifts for that super special dad? A Super Handy Dad needs his super tools. And all month long, we're giving you super savings of 15% off all power tools and accessories from Stanley, Black & Decker, DeWalt, Skill, Bosch, and 15% off Santool hand tools and hardware. So come in today to Brothers Abet on Barrack Road for Super Handy Dads Month and pick up those super tools at super savings.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime. While with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Why, Tony?
Boy, kid, what you going on, man?
We actually can see we can need to buy a stack of them plastic plates and cups from the grocery shop because they run low.
Boy, I stopped importing that thing since April 15th, you know. And I just ran out to the last batch, must have been like 3 weeks back, you know.
Man, do I usually have anything? What is going on?
Check this, right? Under the new law, we ban all single-use plastics, so that the cups, plates, forks, spoons, and knives, all of that. Since April 15th, can't import none of them. Starting January 15, 2021, you can't manufacture them. April 15, 2021, you can't sell them. And after July 14, 2021, if you get catch with any other thing, you will get fined.
Me never know this. I guess I have to make some changes then. I have to make the customers know that anything not available. Anyways, bro. Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Take care.
"2020 taught us the importance of being connected to the virtual world, and NextGen is here to keep its commitment to you. Even if you're physically apart, NextGen keeps you digitally connected."
Okay, everyone, thank you for following me today.
NextGen provides more than just an internet plan. They provide service plans that support all your online needs. Sign up today and get your NextGen's ultra high-speed internet service. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Today at the Civic Center in Corozal Town, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Corozal Town Council, the National Sports Council in that municipality, and the Corozal Football Association. The new partnership, a first of its kind, will see the development of the sport at all levels, including engagement in youth athletes who want to learn the fundamentals of football. Chairman of Corozal Football Academy, Jose Mai, and General Secretary of the association, Martin Vasquez, speaks more on this venture.
This is a partnership that where each entity will be doing their best to ensure that we provide the best services, and if there is the need that Corozal Town Council may need some assistance in training, CFA will be available, so it will be vice versa benefit. And foremostly, this memorandum also enacts for the launching of our Football Academy of Corozal, which will be happening on the 26th of June 2021.
It is designed to provide a training program for kids between the ages of 5 and 10, U10 and under. And it seeks to provide a platform for these kids to have fun and to learn the wonderful game of football. And so we have designed the program in such a way that there will be an emphasis on the individual development of the player. Not so much team development, but individual player development, where we want to make sure that the priority is going to be the building and reinforcing of technical skills.
It's a 12-week program, and we're targeting players or kids ages 5 to 10. This will be both male, female, and the intention for it is we'll be in teaching them some football drills, skills. On a weekly basis, there will be one specific drill, but at the same time, as what I mentioned by Mr. Jose Mai, the person who will be chairing this, is that we'll be incorporating some values. So in the next 5-10 years, we will have some more disciplined players.
Jose Mai worked on the paperwork, creating 2 documents on the structure and program itself for the academy. To go along with that is a coach's manual to guide the delivery of the 12-week summer program for the children. Mayor Rigoberto Veo says that he is throwing his full support behind this investment in the youth and sports.
Everybody knows me because of bodybuilding, but I used to play football, the first division, when I used to live in Belize City for some years. And for the love of the game, I still have it. The love of sports, it's still in me, will always be in me. And the support that we can give as leaders to our community and our young people, that love, I have it personally. And I am sure that the 3 bodies, the Corozal Town Council, the Sports Council, and the Corozal Football Association also have that love. And we want to share that love with our community through sports. What a better way to do it, to put it to our young people and our kids. No, so that passion is still there, and that is what motivated us. Apart that, we have been on practically lockdown for over a year, and we are so dying, we're so hungry to be able to engage, especially in sports. And we want to take that opportunity as we slowly but surely go along our way, opening our gates to many different things within our community.
A young Belizean woman is trending on social media today after Facebook pictures show her attending her high school graduation wearing traditional Mayan attire. While many graduates are stepping out in their trendy outfits, Emily used this milestone in her life to raise awareness of her culture and people. News 5's Paul Lopez spoke to Emily Sakba, who lives in Punta Gorda, over the phone.
18-year-old Emily Darlene Sakba recently graduated at Toledo Community College. This trailblazer decided to walk the graduation stage in her multicolored traditional Maya wear to represent her culture.
I decided to wear my outfit because it's just something I love, my culture. I'm not ashamed of my culture. And because my grandmother and my mom teach me that we are indigenous people and we don't have to be ashamed of our clothing, speaking, everything.
Did you feel out of place?
Oh, no, of course not. Okay. Because I know my outfit is very, very attractive.
Emily says she got the dress from her grandmother. She and her family migrated to Belize from Guatemala in 2015. Most days she can be found assisting her mother at their textile store in Punta Gorda town. There she dreams of studying medicine and one day becoming a doctor.
I plan to study medicine and I don't know where, but I want to be a doctor in the future and help indigenous people like me. Well, not only indigenous people, but our culture.
Her message to people like herself with indigenous backgrounds is for them to embrace the uniqueness of their culture and language.
To not be ashamed of the clothing and the speaking, because our culture is unique. And some female young ladies feel like, because I always see in my mom store, and I noticed that some females don't want to speak the language, and that's very sad.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
When we return, the turnout for COVID-19 vaccines may be sluggish in Belize, but in Trinidad it is a very different story. The long lines at health centers there, coming up next.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your smart broadband with smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
The contamination of water we all depend on is a very urgent issue. As Belize's popularity and industries grow, challenges increase. In this episode, we will examine the issue of water pollution in Belize. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies, usually because of human activities. Water bodies include lagoons, rivers, aquifers, and oceans. On the marine side, the discharge of sewage and bilge water from cruise ships and other live-aboard vessels, in combination with unregulated development of coastal areas, has led to the degradation of marine ecosystems such as mangroves and coral reefs. Our inland waters are facing their own challenges. As agricultural development increases, pesticides, fertilizers, and waste products are running off into rivers. Increased river traffic from boat tours and sugar barges adds to the already stressful conditions of the freshwater ecosystems. In addition, companies that collect sewage sometimes dump the waste right into the waterways. Additionally, in densely populated areas like Belize City and Orange Walk, poor sewage designs result in the contamination of groundwater and of water bodies by both sewage and wash water. In many cases, homes and businesses dump their wastewater directly into drains, which leads to rivers and the sea. Wastewater, detergents, and petroleum collect in drains that empty into waterways, such as the New River and the Belize River. This, along with the runoff and discharges from the agricultural and industrial businesses, have been inadequately monitored and enforced. The answers to overcoming water pollution issues are fourfold: improved infrastructure, adequate treatment, increased legislation and monitoring, and of course, changing our habits for the better. While it is urgent that better management on a policy level is needed, there are a few things we can do at home to help. Ensure proper treatment systems are installed for all wastewater at your home and business. Don't dispose of oil from your automobiles or cooking and household detergents down the drain. And lastly, minimize the usage of chemicals and fertilizers and report any dumping into waterways to the Department of the Environment. The government has recognized the threat of inadequate liquid waste management and is working toward goals of reducing and reversing its effects. For more information on what's being done about water pollution and ways you can help, visit our website at doe.gov.bz. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
UNICEF Belize has donated refrigerators for COVID-19 vaccination storage to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The handing over at the National Vaccine Building in Belmopan includes 14 refrigerators that will be used for the cold storage chain in the districts. According to UNICEF, the COVID-19 pandemic has negatively impacted the most vulnerable groups while obstructing access to education and other basic social and health services for children. According to global data, almost 3 million deaths among children under 5 years of age are preventable by vaccine. UNICEF Belize is focused on optimizing Belize's cold chain system to improve vaccination against COVID-19 and boost universal vaccine coverage. Alison Parker, UNICEF representative to Belize, delivered the equipment to Michelle Shabat, Minister of Health and Wellness. While health officials in Belize have been trying to encourage reluctant citizens to go for their COVID-19 vaccinations, the situation in Trinidad was just the opposite this week. Due to the state of emergency in that country caused by so many cases of COVID-19, thousands of people turned out for their free jab. This puts a strain on the healthcare system and created chaos at some vaccination centers. Here's a glimpse of what is happening in Trinidad, courtesy of Caribbean News Center.
Hundreds of Trinidadians showed up at health centers across the country on Wednesday after the government announced a no-appointment day for COVID-19 vaccines, causing widespread scenes of chaos. At one point, the police had to be called in to restore order as the health centers struggled to meet the overwhelming demand. Health Minister Mr. Terence Dayal Singh later apologized for the chaos, saying his ministry had underestimated how many people would want vaccines.
We underestimated the demand for vaccines, and we must sincerely apologize, and I as minister sincerely apologize for this morning. Many of the people who turned up, and the CEOs could attest to this, are people who weren't eligible. And that was part of the issue, healthy persons under 60.
The minister announced a new alphabetical system would be employed effective Thursday. The Trinidad and Tobago government recently announced a ramped-up national vaccination campaign as it prepares to reopen the economy following months of tight restrictions, including closed borders, restricted opening hours for most businesses, and extended nighttime curfews.
Just ahead, he has captured the beauty of Belize for decades. Now Tony Rath is inviting you to view his work in person or online. Belize's newest gallery up next, but first here is the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
One year ago, an invisible but deadly virus altered our way of life. Upon assuming my responsibilities as Minister of Home Affairs, over 190 members of the Belize Police Department had contracted the virus, and regrettably, 2 of our heroes in uniform lost the battle on the front line of this pandemic. Today, I can proudly say that there are no reported cases within our department, and this is directly attributable to the phenomenal work of the healthcare workers and the team over at the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We are in this together. I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine. This is our chance, our opportunity, our window to return to normalcy. #GetVaccinated_Belize.
It is my time
to protect your life.
Don't wait to vaccinate.
I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine.
The vaccine is the best way to protect lives.
Don't wait, vaccinate.
Don't hesitate, Belize.
Vaccinate. Be COVID-19 safe.
If you care,
love them.
Protect them.
Vaccinate them.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos. Y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
A month before he migrates with his wife to the UK, where she has taken up a diplomatic posting, renowned photographer and blogger Tony Rath is unveiling his new project, a photo gallery at the Pelican Beach Resort in Dangriga. A collection of some of his best work, pictures of landscapes, underwater shots, and cultures are now on display inside the gallery with hundreds of thousands more. News 5's Dwayne Moody got a virtual tour today and files this report.
It's a collection of about 125 photographs taken over the 3 decades he has lived in Belize. But Dangriga resident Tony Rath, for the past 3 years, has been working on the idea of creating a gallery in the south. It is at Pelican Beach Resort, but the selection process was not that easy.
Of those 250,000 images, about 50,000 to 75,000 are slides. So those were immediately eliminated because it was too much trouble to go through the slides, and then I'd have to digitize them and get them printed. So that was the first selection. So we restricted it to just digital images. And when the digital images, we still had probably 150,000 to go through, and that took a long time. That took a good year to narrow it down to maybe 1,000 images. And then I called on 6 good friends of mine who are photographers and designers and artists to. We took a weekend, went out to Southwater Key, and I showed them about 1,000 of these images and asked them to rank them, between 1 to 5. 1 being they really liked them, and 5 that they didn't think it should be in the gallery.
But that process was just as difficult, and while there were some winning selections, the best were chosen and printed on aluminum, giving the images a different look and feel. Rath has traveled the length and breadth of the country, carrying his equipment deep into the jungle, at times spending days and in some cases even weeks away from home, just to capture the scene through the camera lens. Rath says it is about patience, living in the moment and waiting for the perfect light.
I did not really pick them by subject. I just picked them by what I thought were nice photos. And I'm mainly a landscape and wildlife photographer and underwater photographer. So I would say 80% are nature, underwater, aerials, landscapes, seascapes. But I do have some cultural. I have the Mayans. In fact, my favorite images I've ever taken are of the Mayans. I do have the Garifuna because, I live in Dangriga.
The photos are for sale, and with a virtual platform, you can even access the gallery.
All the photos are for sale, and there is a QR code on each photo so that when they're in the gallery, they can scan the QR code and it'll take them to an order form. And there's a lot of different options. So all the images in the gallery are actually printed. It's a process where it's printed on metal, on aluminum, but it's not on the aluminum, it's in the aluminum. So it's infused into the aluminum. And 2 things it does. Number 1, it makes them very durable. So these aluminum prints can last a lifetime. And the second thing it does is that it sort of creates a luminescence to the images. Excuse me, so that the images kind of pick up the metal glow, and they kind of glow and have a 3D effect. You can go to my website at tonyrath.com, and there's a link on there for fine art prints, and you click that and it'll take you to all the same images plus more that are in the gallery, and you can order right off that website using, I believe it's using PayPal or a credit card.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The gallery officially opens to the public on Friday. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.